Hello, everyone, and welcome to this virtual town hall on the Employment Development Department. New details, questions, and answers. From the state capitol here in Sacramento, I'm Brian Green, and we know that many communities across the state are hurting in the wake of this COVID-19 pandemic, most especially those millions of Californians who have lost their jobs as our state's economy has contracted and been impacted by job losses and unemployment. It has been made absolutely clear that Californians need answers to their questions about unemployment benefits and also clarity on how they can best proceed through the process of filing claims and promptly receiving the benefits. This live town hall allows our faithful public servants who are with me here in the studio and also by Zoom, and also a representative from EDD, the Employment Development Department, to explain the program setup and resources available to help everyone and to answer as many of your questions as possible. So joining me as part of this virtual presentation are a few of our Central Valley legislators and a Valley representative of EDD. Here in the studio with me, I'm very happy to have State Senator Ana Caballero from the 12th Senate District from Salinas Valley, and also San Benito County, Merced County, and portions of Stanislaus, Madera, and Fresno counties. Good to see you in person, Senator. Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Thank you very much for helping us to do this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And of course, we are appropriately socially distanced and masked, but we are in studio. Joining us, joining Senator Caballero via Zoom, and I hope I have my identifiers correct here, are two of her colleagues from the State Assembly. Assemblymember Robert Rivas of Hollister, representing the 30th Assembly District, which includes the Inland Valley all the way to the coast, if I know my California map right. Assemblymember Rivas, welcome. I see you there. And
sorry, I had to unmute myself, but it's great to be here.
Good.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Glad to have you, sir. And joining us from the 31st Assembly District, representing the city of Fresno and Fresno County, is Dr. Joaquin Arambula. Doctor, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing wonderful, and thanks for having us, and really want to appreciate the Senator for organizing this, and for my colleague who is here at the state capitol, but across the hall from me here today, that we're able to talk about these programs that really do help families and ensure that our communities are able to access these programs.
Absolutely. And obviously with our new normal here with new technology, at least we're all together virtually, if not in person, but we're glad to have everybody here. Also joining us remotely via Zoom from the Central Valley is Shellie Tarver. She is the Deputy Division Chief for the Employment Development Department in the Central Valley region. Shellie, welcome.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everyone.
Glad to have you here. Legislators and Shellie, before we get started, just to give you folks just an opening opportunity to give some perspective here. I know really one of the most profound and sobering tasks that you lawmakers and your staffs have been having to address during this pandemic are the outpouring of the phone calls and the inquiries to your offices from constituents seeking counsel and assistance in accessing the information from the Employment Development Department. So if you have just a couple of opening remarks, we'll start with you, Assemblymember Rivas, just a couple of comments, perspective, and then we'll move on with your colleagues, and then we'll get into Shelley's presentation.
Absolutely. Well, again, I really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this call with a couple of my colleagues who I admire and respect, and certainly be new to the legislature. I certainly look to them, especially on, a lot of these issues that are impacting our districts, our constituencies. Prior to my time in the state assembly, early on in my career, I had the opportunity to work for two incredible members of the legislature, Simon Salinas and our very own Ana Caballero. And so, I learned everything I know from Ana. She's an incredible public servant. And so certainly, being new to the legislature, I was first elected to be a member of the County Board of Supervisors in San Benito in 2010 in the midst of the Great Recession. And so certainly those were challenging times, but what we're experiencing now is something that we have never seen. And what makes that, makes our job all that much more challenging is obviously we're here to represent our districts, to be a voice for our constituencies. And I think it's safe to say in the districts we all represent, myself and my colleagues, as a part of this program, we represent vulnerable populations, vulnerable, parts of the state. And so certainly when you talk about things of a, of a record, unemployment rate, a surging unemployment rate. Our job here is not only to be, carry legislation, support legislation that best meets the needs of the constituencies in our districts, but also being incredibly responsive to those constituencies and to their needs. And so certainly there's no greater need now than, trying to work with EDD to, clear this backlog of unemployment claims. And having worked previously, as I mentioned, for the senator, and having had the responsibility of working directly with constituents and being there to link to state government and to these departments like EDD, it's incredibly important work. And so that's why we really appreciate EDD. No one anticipated this pandemic was going to occur. And as a state, as a country, it's safe to say that we were unprepared. And so I really give a lot of credit to the department, to EDD, for being on this call and doing everything they can to improve the level of service that they are now offering. And so again, it's a pleasure to be here to join my friends and my colleagues here in the legislature.
Great. Assemblymember Rivas, thank you very much for those opening comments. Dr. Arambula from Fresno County, I know you're here at the Capitol as well, but glad to have you here. I know you have seen this pandemic from a number of different levels, not only as a lawmaker, but as a physician. Any comments that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I'd like to start, if I can, by, again, thanking the senator. She and I were in Firebaugh recently, where we were helping to do a food distribution. And oftentimes when you're there in community and able to look people in the face, you see the struggle that they're going through. And it is because of that experience that I think we can then advocate for our constituents on their behalf to make sure that the programs that they are relying upon right now are there for them. Programs that are needed, such as the pandemic assistance from the PUA or the PEUC, as well as state disability and our unemployment insurance. I just think we have a responsibility to ensure that families have access to those programs, and really look forward to this conversation today. Because I know that the senator and my assembly member colleague as well have a heart to care for those in our communities. And we're just trying to make sure during this crisis and pandemic that their wishes and concerns are elevated and that we're able to address them as public servants. So thanks again for having me, and looking forward to this conversation today.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Arambula. Okay, here in the studio with me, State Senator Ana Caballero. You've heard your colleagues there from the Valley. Senator, I know you and I have talked in the last couple of weeks through this process about the incredible experiences you are having down in the district with farm workers, with farmers and other residents. Talk about that, and also this particularly sobering issue of unemployment and what we're doing with EDD.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to do this town hall meeting and to have EDD on the phone with us. And I want to thank my colleagues in the Assembly for their hard work. I have been with both of them at food distributions, and also PPE, the personal protective equipment distributions, for people who are the essential workers, farm workers and farmers who put food on our table, critically important. But we recessed the legislature in mid-March, and in recess we were all sent home to shelter in place and to do our work from home. So despite the fact that we were in the middle of this pandemic, we have, and all the staff have been working from home, answering phones, talking to constituents, and the number one issue that has come up that they're concerned about are benefits that help them to continue to pay their bills so that they don't get evicted, so that they can buy food for their family, and so that they have the resources necessary given this pandemic. And so this town hall meeting is really critically important, because we have some really important questions that EDD is going to be able to answer for us. But what's important is that we went from around 3% unemployment to now over 16% unemployment, and the projection is we may get to 20. And so with that in mind, the state is a lifeline. And it's one of the points of contact that people right now, during one of the most difficult times in their lives, have with the state. And so this is really important information, and I really want to thank EDD for joining us on this call. They have been doing tremendous work, and I think we're going to hear some of the issues that they've been able to deal with, some of the challenges they've had to deal with, and some of the solutions that they've come up with. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today and to talk about this.
Well, we are absolutely glad to have everybody. And of course, we cannot do this conversation without the Employment Development Department representatives. And on the line with us, as I mentioned, Shellie Tarver, the Deputy Division Chief for the Employment Development Department in the Central Valley. And Shellie, just to sort of tee off to what Senator Caballero said, EDD has been doing work for so long at just what you would call your typical unemployment rate and the issues, and then all of a sudden, just overnight practically, things have just crescendoed into, I know, what has been a tremendous amount of work for you and your colleagues, not only in the Valley, but up and down the state. And happy to hear your comments, and also I know you have a presentation for us as well that you want to make to give us a little more clarity on what's going on with EDD.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Brian. I would like to start first by thanking the Senator and our Assemblyman for inviting the Employment Development Department to participate in today's town hall. But most importantly, really thank you all for your work and for your support of the department. Your work with the communities and all that you're doing is very much appreciated during this very difficult time. So truly my heartfelt thanks to you all. This is really a great opportunity for the Employment Development Department to connect with our customers and to share some important information about the CARES Act and how it relates to the unemployment insurance programs. So we realize that being unemployed is new to many across our state. And we hope that this short presentation will provide a good basic understanding of the benefits and resources available to help our customers navigate through this pandemic. So I'm going to move into a formal presentation. At the end of the formal presentation, we're prepared to answer the questions that have been provided by the Senator, and looking forward to being able to share some solutions, hopefully. So let's go ahead and get started.
Absolutely.
One of the most frequently asked questions that we get is about the impact of COVID-19 on California's economy. So we thought it was great to start here. So since the pandemic began in California, for most of us, it was March 14th, in mid-March when this all started for us. And this is some of the data that we have pulled together to share with everyone regarding the impacts of COVID-19. So to put this into perspective, in April 2019, so a year ago, we filed in that month 281,485 unemployment insurance claims compared to what you're seeing here on the screen. We have now processed 5.2 million regular unemployment insurance claims. The pandemic unemployment assistance is at 483,570. So that data, I believe, is effective April. The total benefits have been paid out to total $26 billion. Our current unemployment rate in California is at 16.1. So this, I'm losing my screen. Are you guys still up?
We can see your screen if you can see ours.
Okay.
I mean, if you have a hard copy, go ahead and move on, because we're following with you.
You're fine. It's still on your. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
This is what technology does in our lives, so we'll just move on.
Thank goodness for technology.
Yes.
Okay. So from that first slide, hopefully we've moved on to the next slide, which I wanted to share how EDD is handling the unprecedented volume of cases that we have been receiving. So unlike the Great Recession, which evolved over time, right? This pandemic is swift, it's sudden, it's unrelenting. And fortunately, EDD has been planning for a downturn in the economy for several years. And we've done that in many ways by upgrading our systems, providing more online options, and making our work processes more efficient. So even with this degree of planning, additional steps were needed to be taken quickly to address some of the historic volume of unemployment insurance claims that we have been receiving. So wanted to share kind of where we're at right now at the department. So we have redirected 1,300 staff from other EDD functions across the state, throughout the state, to assist in unemployment insurance. We, to date, have hired 900 new unemployment insurance staff, and we are still currently hiring additional 4,800. So if we have any people out there looking for work that is interested in getting into this line of work, we welcome your applications, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. We have also simplified processes to file the unemployment insurance claims so that we can work to pay the benefits faster. We've added new programming to the EDD systems to accommodate the CARES Act, so that was recent and new, and that happened very quickly. We've automated several manual processes. In the past, there were manual actions that had to be taken, and they are now automated, which has really improved the service delivery. We've upgraded servers to handle a high volume of claims, and we've also established the UI Online Assistance Center for technical help, and we'll be speaking about that a lot this afternoon, as well as implemented the text messaging to claimants for more timely communication, trying to update our systems and communicate in a manner that best supports the majority of our population. So let's drill down a little bit into the Federal CARES Act and how that has impacted unemployment insurance. So basically we have three different types of benefits that are a result of the Federal CARES Act. The Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, this is the additional $600 stimulus payment that is added to every customer's weekly benefit amount. So in addition, we have the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation. This is up to 13 weeks of extended benefits. If once the claim has been exhausted, we have a 13-week extension to support this pandemic. And then lastly, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. We reference that, we call that PUA. And this is 39 weeks of benefits for those who don't usually qualify for unemployment insurance. So this is our business owners, our self-employed folks, and our independent contractors. This is a lifesaver for many, and we're going to be talking about how this supports our customers as well. So those are the three types of unemployment insurance benefits that we're going to be discussing this afternoon. I want to start with let's do a little deeper dive into the pandemic additional compensation. This has been a hot topic, and it's been very helpful to many hundreds of customers across the state, as it was approved that they would all receive an additional $600 weekly stimulus payment, and this payment is automatically added to their unemployment insurance benefits weekly. This is applicable to almost all unemployment insurance claims. So work sharing claims, all of the extensions. The only thing this does not apply to the training extensions or to the state special school benefits that we have in place. But generally, the pandemic additional compensation applies to all those getting even $1. If they're awarded for a dollar benefit and up, they will receive the additional $600 stimulus payment. This does apply. This was approved and authorized, applies through March 29th of 2020 through July 25. So through July 25th of this year. Let's go to the pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. So the emergency compensation really was about approving an additional 13 weeks of unemployment benefits when all of the benefits associated with the regular claim were exhausted. So once a customer's benefit has exhausted, depending on where they're at in the life of their claim can be extended for an additional 13 weeks. Again, it only applies between March 29th through December 26th. The extension, depending on when your claim runs out, the extension will apply through December 26th of 2020. Additional state and federal extensions may become available at a later date and time. However, right now, this is what is on the books and within our authorization to approve. Let's go to the PUA claims. So the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance claims. This is a benefit for our customers that are usually not eligible for the regular unemployment insurance claims. This is the business owner, the self-employed individual, claimants with regular UI, regular unemployment insurance claims, who have exhausted all their benefits and extensions. This would also apply to them. Individuals with a limited work history who could not begin a new job or due to COVID-19. So if any of our customers that may be listening have not applied and meet these factors, should definitely apply for unemployment. If you're a business owner or self-employed, apply for the benefits. This provides up to 39 weeks of benefits with no waiting period. It also applies to if you were impacted by COVID-19 from February 2nd of 2020 through December 26th of 2020. The $600 weekly stimulus benefit also applies to the PUA claims as well. So you will receive an award for the PUA claim with the additional $600 weekly stimulus benefit. EDD started accepting applications on April 28th for the PUA claims. They are retroactive to when you became directly impacted by COVID-19. And those dates can be different depending on the business owner, the self-employed individual, but they cannot go past the February 2nd, 2020 date. So the earliest your claim can begin is February 2nd. The weekly benefit amount ranges anywhere from $167 a week to $450. Everyone will receive, if you qualify when you apply, everyone receives an initial award of $167 per week. There is, based on the income that is submitted to the unemployment insurance office, your benefit range can change once they confirm through the 2019 net income report. That weekly amount can be changed, and it is also retroactive to the first week that your claim began. So that's a very nice benefit, and you can retroactive that. However, so some people are concerned when they get their initial award and it's only $167 a week, and then that can be rectified again up to $450 per week with the additional $600 a week stimulus payment. So next we thought it was important to share how we're communicating with our customers and how we are keeping our customers informed and some of the changes that we've made to support the mass numbers of claims that we're receiving. And so we have recently implemented the EDD text message service to advise customers. This is a benefit or a service really that is offered to customers. They have to choose, they have to select this. So when your claim is approved, you can opt in to receive text messages. When your claim is processed within the system, you'll receive a text message that advises you your claim has been processed. You will also receive a text message with your first payment. When your first payment is issued and you've opted for the service, you will receive a text message that lets you know your first payment was issued. In addition, you will receive an extension text message if you're in that situation and the extension has been filed to extend your unemployment benefits. You will be notified via text. If you need to monitor your U.S. Postal Service mail regarding the request that EDD has submitted for identity documents as well, and when EDD receives your identity documents, a text message will follow as well. In addition, we're using a UI online email reminders when it's time to certify for benefits. That's an added service. So customers will receive online emails when it's time to certify. If you utilize your UI online account, it makes this transaction very smooth and saves time as well. This is a time saver, the UI online service, and we're going to be sharing how that can help customers who are struggling with communication on some of the issues when we get into our questions. We also have the EDD Virtual Agent. This is new. The virtual agent will definitely support providing general information using the chatbot feature on the EDD website and as well in the EDD Facebook page. UI Online Assistance Centers are open from 8 to 8, 7 days a week. We have the UI Online Assistance Center is providing technical support, a wide variety of support. They can help customers with the registration. They can help customers get their account numbers, password resets, provide them technical support. If they are struggling with getting a message to unemployment and being unable to get through the lines, the staff on this call center line can help them actually submit the questions online. So this is the technical support that is very much needed as our customers in the Central Valley in your areas may struggle with technology or not have the resources. Our staff are there to help and provide guidance and direction and walk them through that entire process. So the UI Online Assistance Center is an excellent resource. We also wanted to share that Bank of America also has alert messages when a deposit is made to your card and when you have a low balance. So those are some of the upgrades to our system and our services that have been implemented to communicate with our customers. Moving to our next slide, which should share what help is available 24/7. So oftentimes, you know, I just want to be very transparent and upfront. I recognize our phones. It is difficult to get through the calls. We have so many people calling on the call centers and trying to get through to EDD. So we wanted to take the time today to highlight the help that is available 24/7. And on our website, there is a wide variety of resources from how to file a claim. So if you go to the EDD website, which is the edd.ca.gov, you will find a wide variety of resources. How to file a claim. There will be all kinds of information regarding the CARES Act, COVID-19 updates. There is also some additional recorded webinars that will provide assistant programs for workers during COVID-19. Very informative resources, webinars, and additional information that can be found on our website. Our UI online services, you can file or reopen a claim online. You can certify for benefits online. You can get up-to-date claim and payment information online. and as well send a secure message requesting information about your claim. I can't stress enough the value of the online services. You do not have to wait on hold or wait on a call line to connect with somebody. You can get your question elevated immediately, as well as you can confirm the status once your claim is filed. So I recognize and understand the challenge with filing your claim, but you can file your claim online, and once it is processed, you'll be able to confirm the payments, the issues, the history, all online. So that is an excellent resource. We also have our UI self-service phone line that is available as well. And this is a phone line where you can certify for benefits using the EDD telecert. That has been a function that we've had for a while, and it is a very good resource as well. If you're not comfortable or familiar with the online and you prefer to use the phone, you can do EDD telecert. And you can also obtain payment information and last payment made information via this phone line as well. So we do want to just share that sometimes file a new claim is not available during late night or early morning hours due to maintenance. So that's just a caveat that we want to point out. And that's due to maintenance of our system and ensuring everything's working properly. So if it is down and you're trying to work late at night or early in the morning, try again when the system is available. But all the UI online features are available 24/7. So we wanted to share the UI phone numbers and regular unemployment insurance and the PUA claim UI services are, in order to receive the hours for that, the hours for the regular assistance to file is 8 to 12, Monday through Friday. And the numbers are provided in the slide, and they are on our website as well. We provide a varied language services. We also have the deaf and hard of hearing information that we're sharing today for all of the customers that may have that need. In addition, we have the Help with UI Online. That service, I just spoke about that service. That is the 8 to 8 technical support. The regular UI and PUA claim services from 8 to 12 for filing claims. Those numbers are a different number. For the technical support, you can call that number as well. We have the UI self-service line as well. So these numbers are on the website, as well as will be in this presentation if you want to jot those numbers down or revisit the presentation. So our next topic of discussion, we wanted to share once we get through the issues with the unemployment insurance claims and ensuring that we can support you and get your unemployment claims going. We also want to take this opportunity to share some of the services that are available for job seekers and for employers at our America's Job Centers of California. We offer a wide variety of services to support and help our customers find work. So for the job seekers, we have the CalJobs registration. CalJobs is our system of choice to link job seekers with jobs and with employers across the state. We provide work search assistance, resume preparation, interviewing skills, and information and training programs as well. We work in partnership with our partners, our workforce investment opportunity partners in our AJCCs across the state. We have Department of Rehabilitation, we have Department of Education, a wide variety of services that you would benefit our customers at these centers. In addition, we do have special programs to serve veterans to serve youth, and for those that have lost their jobs due to some trade disputes or businesses closing. We have the Trade Adjustment Act to support those customers that their employer has went out of business and left their area. Employer services, we're still working to support with recruitments and rapid response outreach efforts. We are working in a very different capacity today, trying to use virtual services. We're still offering a lot of our services over the phone, one-on-one communication, by appointments. There's still a lot of services that can be done until we're able to return to in-person service delivery. So we wanted to just to remind, there are several employers that are hiring at this time. So depending on your circumstances and the type of work you're looking for, reach out to your local America's Job Center. And this is I want to share with you, as I stated before, EDD is hiring. We are looking for employment program representatives that will be, the Unemployment Insurance Office is doing a massive recruitment to hire. Online, there is 4,800 job openings for employment program representatives. We have some other positions that are open as well. So we wanted to take this opportunity again to share that information and go over, provide you with some resources for how to apply for those jobs. So definitely CalCareers is I was thinking we had a website on here, maybe that's coming up, but we need to create a CalCareers account in order to apply for these state jobs. You can search for jobs. Some of the positions are required to take an exam. So when you do the search and you find the job that you're interested in, if it's the employment program representative, there is an exam that is required to take the exam and apply for the position. We are definitely encouraging those who possess bilingual skills to apply. So we're encouraging anyone to apply if you are interested in this type of position. So Brian, that concludes our formal presentation, and takes us into an opportunity to try to address some of the questions that you have.
Yes, Shellie, thank you. I don't know if your computer ever was restored through that, but we saw everything. The timing was great. Thank you so much for that presentation, and very encouraging to know that, especially in this time of unemployment, that the EDD, in addition to giving benefits, is also offering employment. So that's reassuring. So that's good to hear. All right, folks, we do have several questions that have been sent in to the legislative offices and to EDD that we have called here, and we will do for the presentation. And as you know, Senator Ana Caballero is with me, along with Assemblymember Robert Rivas and Dr. Joaquin Arambula from the Valley, also online from Zoom. We will go through these questions, get to as many as we can, and I don't think I'm violating protocol, technological protocol here, gentlemen. If Assembly members, if you are listening and you have any particular question or comment yourselves as we go through these questions, I guess just give us the high sign and we'll do our best to get you in as best we can if you feel compelled to do so. Senator Caballero as well, and obviously Senator Caballero and I will tag team these questions. I'll give you the first one, Senator. It's all yours. We'll go through these.
Thank you very much, Brian. So we've had a number of constituents call, and one of the questions is they've received a notice that they've been overpaid, but they don't know how much, and they're concerned about whether they'll be penalized, and then what they should do if there's something that they're expected to do proactively. So if you could, the overpayment notices don't reflect the amount that they were overpaid. So what should they do, and is there a penalty? Okay.
So overpayments, I just want to start our question and answers just by sharing that due to confidentiality reasons, we're not going to be able to do a deep dive into specifics regarding anyone's individual claim. So I'm gonna try to cover a lot of general information and still provide enough information that will help those with the specific questions. So overpayments can be very complicated. And so first, let me start by sharing some general overpayment information. To expedite the payment processing during the COVID-19 pandemic, EDD automatically certified customers for their benefits between March 14th and May 9th, 2020. So unfortunately, because we were automatically certifying customers, unfortunately, this could have created an overpayment for some of our customers. But the good news is, because this decision was made by the state, that there will not be penalties that are applied to the customer in this case. However, the customer is responsible to repay any amount that was overpaid. So there are times when penalties are applied to overpayments when the fault of the overpayment lies with the customer, but if the fault of the overpayment lies with EDD, then penalties are not applied. So the other thing I wanted to share, please keep in mind, whenever an overpayment occurs, you are always notified by mail of the amount of the potential overpayment, and we'll have the opportunity to dispute that amount. So what I'm hearing, just to share, is sometimes if you're notified online that you have an overpayment, the specific amount will not be told to you online because it's confidential information. We have different policies about the information that is shared, but the department always mails a notice of potential overpayment to the customer that will disclose the amount and the reason for the overpayment. There is a process. If you dispute the amount of the overpayment, you will have the opportunity to dispute the amount and or agree with the amount that is overpaid, and once the overpayment is set up. This process can take some time, so if you do agree to the overpayment, and the process will take some time to finalize, but you will receive a notice in the mail. You can make a payment or request installment payments online as well. The benefits program online account, so we call that your BPO account, benefits program online account, is what you will utilize online if you're interested in identifying those services. Your BPO account is the same account that you will use to file for unemployment insurance, disability, or paid family leave. So for more information about overpayments, there is a wide variety of overpayments and information on our benefits overpay service webpage found on the edd.ca.gov. So I hope I answered that question. It's, if they're overpaid, they will be told how much. It will come in an email. And if they did not get that or didn't receive it, you can request that online on your online account, and they can provide you with that information again, and or call for some technical support as well.
All right, understood about the issue regarding confidentiality, Shellie. Actually, Assemblymember Arambula has a follow-up question or comment on that as well. Assemblymember.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to follow up, Shellie, if I could, on one of the comments you made regarding ID verification. So can you clarify a little bit, if you can, about that? Do customers have to currently opt in for text message confirmation? Because what we're hearing from many constituents is that it's difficult to receive that confirmation, and trying to get clarification from you.
Oh, okay. So we actually have some questions coming up about the ID verification, but if they opt in to the text message, yes. Once the identity verification issue is identified and they resolve that, they will send the text message. The opting in happens when you apply for unemployment insurance benefits. So if they applied online, or depending on if they opted in for the text messaging, that's going to be an alert that they get via the text message when they have the issue, when they've received their documents, or the issue has been resolved.
All right, great. We have our next question. I'll go ahead and we'll read it here. What assistance is there for those who want to complete their online UI application, but their accounts have been disabled?
Okay, so disabled usually refers to the customer is locked out. So this occurs when we have too many attempts. They've tried too many times to log in with the incorrect password, and so they get a notice that says they're locked out. Customers have a couple of options here. Only the customer knows how many times. Like if you've tried, do you remember the password? Did you do it 10 times? Once you've exceeded the limit, it's going to disable your account, but you need to know that if you wait 1 hour, it will reset and you can try again. So if you're pretty confident you just messed up your password and you know your password, you can wait that hour, you can try again. If you're still locked out, then that's going to require some support from our online assistance center, and you'll have to make a phone call. And that will they will reset your password. They'll help you reset your password. So for this function, if you can't do it on your own after an hour and you continue to try and you get the disabled message, you will need to contact the UI Online Assistance Center to help you.
All right. Next question, Senator.
Okay. We had a constituent who was denied unemployment insurance benefits in mid-April, and they were advised to file for the PUA. Will the initial UI application be detrimental to getting the PUA benefits? And what's the time frame to find out if she actually qualifies for the PUA benefits?
Okay, so the good news is no, it will not be detrimental. Before, UI Online was programmed to accept PUA applications. Customers were receiving award notices with a zero amount because they didn't have any W-2 wages. So they might be getting a denial. And this meant that you had to reapply for PUA on or after April 28th. However, since April 28th, you only have to file once and the system will select the right claim for you, whether it's a regular claim, a PUA claim, or a pandemic extension. So as for the processing time, it currently takes between 2 to 3 weeks. Just to share that a PUA claim, all PUA claims have to be finalized by staff. It requires staff processing, unlike the regular claims, which are finalized by the system. So as mentioned in the presentation, EDD implemented the text messaging option, and this was to improve the communication for the customer regarding this issue. So if you opt in for this service, you will receive a text message once your claim has been processed. This lets the customer know immediately that their claim has been approved, and that it alerts them to be on the lookout for the documents that will be coming in the mail. So you'll always get that first before you get your letters, and so that's a nice service. And it also alerts them so that they know that they're now ready to certify for their benefits to continue. To get additional continuing benefits, you have to certify. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right, thank you. We'll go to the next question here. Some constituents applied for benefits a second time after not hearing back about their initial application. Their payments are finally coming through, but they are only being paid from the date of their second application on. They did not receive payments from their date of lost employment. Will they be receiving the payments from their initial application? And if so, what is the process to request those?
Okay, so I want to start by just saying that every circumstance is different, and there's a wide variety of reasons why claims are not starting from the initial claim date submitted. Knowing the why is critical to determining if the customer will be paid from the initial application date or not. So however, I want to explain there is a process in place to support and resolve these issues for the customers. And so we call that the recomputation process. So if your claim is not starting on the day you thought it should, and you received you received a claim, if your claim is not starting on the day that you thought, like this customer, she's getting her payments now, but she wants it to go back. So the recommendation is that you wait until you get your first payment, which it sounds like she has, and then you send a message to the UI online account, and that's when you request a recomputation of your claim. But I do want the customer to know that for if you file a PUA claim, your claim should start on a Sunday of the date where you were first impacted by COVID-19. However, if it's just a regular claim, then that claim starts on the Sunday of the week you actually filed your claim. So depending on the type of claim you filed, the start date of the beginning date of your claim can be different. And if you request a recomputation and you want to go back, depending on how far back you go, that recomputation may impact your benefits as well. So it's a complicated process, but that you can definitely get through it. And I think it's common for if customers filed an initial claim and they didn't receive any information and they filed another one, they certainly should make a phone call to the UI Online Assistance Center to discuss the specific details of their claim with the UI representative and request a recomputation, and they will be directed from there. So it is solvable for that customer for sure. The important thing to remember is to continue to certify for your benefits while you're going through the recomputation process. So continue to get your benefits, continue to certify, because that recomputation process may take a little bit.
All right, great. Next question, Senator.
So we've heard, and sometimes we don't always believe everything that a customer may say, but we've heard that some customers may have received phone calls saying that phone calls from EDD saying that they can't help them and that someone will call them within 72 hours, but it takes a lot longer, sometimes up to a week, to get a call. Are you actually calling customers and having, is that how you're resolving some of these issues? Or, I mean, it's just unusual because in the past, what I used to tell people is you get a letter in the mail. And that letter should be real explanatory about whether you get benefits or you don't get benefits. No one will ever call you and say you owe money and you got to pay me. So what should we tell people about these phone calls?
Yes. So just to share, you're 100% right. It is not EDD's practice to call a customer to tell them that we can't help them. However, there are times when an EDD representative may not be able to assist the caller in their first point of contact. So if a customer is calling our online center, let's say they're calling our UI online center, and that representative may not be able to resolve all of their issues that they have on their claim in that first contact. So what they will tell that customer is they'll put them on what we call a callback list, and a UI representative will contact that customer within 72 hours. So there is that process. If there is an issue on the claim that requires an unemployment insurance contact, then they will put them on that 72-hour list. I do want to share what's really important when they're waiting for it to be called back, because oftentimes, so they get through that first UI contact person can't resolve everything and they can't be paid and they're waiting to find out. And so a UI representative needs to call them back. It's important that they know that EDD is going to become, when they're calling, they need to answer the phone. If it comes in blocked, private, unknown, spam, unlikely, those kind of things, they need to unblock their phone and answer those calls, because the call is not going to come in. It's not going to say EDD calling. It will probably say blocked. It'll say private, and they need to answer those calls. In addition, the UI representative will make 2 attempts to contact to return the call. So within that 72 hours, if they call and no one answers, They're not going to leave a voicemail. If it's a missed call, busy, or they reach voicemail, they don't leave voicemails or return numbers. They will attempt to call them again. So that's why it's important for them to answer the calls, even if they're blocked or private or unknown, during that time until they get contact from the unemployment insurance office.
That's really important.
Yeah, because they're not going to know that it's unemployment, and they can only make so many attempts until they have to go on to the next person. So to answer the call, but please know that we are doing our best to get claims reviewed and resolved in the appropriate time that we've allowed for that to happen. And I encourage all customers. So if they do not receive a return call, or the action has not been taken on their claim that they thought was in that time, I encourage them to use all of the support they can. Call back the 1-800 numbers. Use the online support. Use the staff in the technical center to help send a message. Whatever they're most comfortable with until their issue is resolved. But we are making every effort to call back within the 72 hours.
Right. And certainly we can empathize for all of you with EDD how complicated and detailed all of this is, not only for customers calling in, for constituents, but also for you as staff. So we certainly can see that reflected in answers and explanations too. All right, we'll continue on with the questions here. Some constituents have turned in their identification verification documents over 5 weeks ago, and their application still has not been processed. What is the time frame for verifying identities, and is there anything else that these constituents can do to complete their application so they can get their payments?
So first, let me recognize 5 weeks is a long time, and I recognize that, and need to share that it is currently taking, our process time is about 6 to 8 weeks to resolve the identity verification issues. So the good news is for this customer, 5 weeks, they're almost there. Hopefully this issue will be resolved soon. They are saying 6 to 8 weeks is what that process is taking. So to provide a little information on the why, sometimes that helps. I know that's not comforting to know it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks, but understanding the why may help better understand the process. Confirming a customer's identity is imperative for us to ensure the safety and security of our customer's identification. And to do this, the EDD has to reach out to other government agencies for verification. And so this can be extremely difficult because the unemployment insurance programs in other states that are also impacted by this crisis, they are also using a lot of the same resources that we do. So therefore, all the agencies and resources are impacted by this increased workload. And so that's what's taking the time, the 6 to 8 weeks, to get these issues resolved. So again, we apologize for the delay. Please know we're working hard every day to identify ways to get these issues resolved as soon as possible. Some of the best practices that, if someone has not applied yet, just to share, we talk a lot about best practices and when you're filling out your initial claim to pay, some people do it real quick and they're not paying attention to the details, and sometimes those kind of mistakes up front can cause you the biggest problem in the end. So pay very close attention to your full name. Use the name that is on your government ID. Use your names that ensure the first and middle and last name all match with oftentimes your employer, the identification, your government ID, so that those kinds of issues aren't a factor when you're finalizing your unemployment insurance claim.
All right, great. Senator, go ahead. Next
Well,
question.
this is a follow-up to that situation. We had a customer who was trying to verify his name with his Social Security number, and when talking to EDD, he was asked to verify that the name that was on the paperwork was him, and it wasn't. It was a different name totally, and he's trying to fix the situation, And it's become difficult because he was told that his Social Security number is already in use, so it can't be changed in the system. So is there a process he needs to go through in order to rectify that situation? There's an acknowledgement that the name is wrong, but he's looking for EDD to do that. Is there something he should do?
And he's looking for a solution. So it sounds like this case definitely needs to be elevated because it has been such a long time. It has passed the 6 to 8 week time frame, Senator. So I would like to work with your staff, if that's okay, to obtain like specific customer information so that, you know, we can't talk about this online, but if we can work with your staff to get his specific information, and then I can make sure we elevate this to the appropriate unemployment insurance contact.
That would be excellent. That'd be terrific.
Okay. Okay, great. We'll connect after our call.
Okay, good. All right, the next question coming in, a couple of constituents were disqualified for benefits years ago and are now being automatically denied benefits due to their previous qualification. One constituent didn't know she had past issues and she was never notified, so the disqualification came as a surprise. Is there anything these constituents can do to remedy their disqualifications?
Yes, there is. So again, you know, speaking generally, everyone's circumstances are different, and I just need to say that, and there can be a wide variety of reasons why claims are disqualified. So just to share with everyone, some disqualifications can be resolved by qualifying for a PUA claim, while other disqualifications may not. So having the specific disqualification information without having the specific disqualification information, I'm not able to really provide a definitive resolution today without knowing, you know, what the disqualification is, when it happened, those kind of things. But to give the general information, yes, some disqualifications are resolved just by the mere fact that you're filing a PUA claim, depending on the type of disqualification. However, in an effort to provide, you know, a resolution or a course of action for your constituents, if their claim has been disqualified, the best thing that they can do is send a secure message through the UI online system to see if the disqualification can be removed. So they can also, when they call the UI Online Assistance Center and they get the staff that's working that center, they can get additional information. They can get that person's support in helping them send the email about their disqualification if they need that support. They can also request a copy of that notice of disqualification if they don't know why or they're not aware. They can get that resent to them. They can get the accurate information. But keep in mind, we always notify in writing of any disqualification, and that is because everyone has a legal right to appeal EDD's decision to reduce or to deny any benefits. So if the disqualification stands, let's say it's a disqualification that cannot be, you know, that the PUA claim doesn't dismiss that disqualification, and if that disqualification stands, every customer has the right to appeal as well. So I just want to state that. I'm not going to go through the entire appeal process today, but just so that customers know, if that happens to them and the disqualification stands and it cannot be waived, then they need to follow the appeal process. And all of the details for following the appeal process are on our website as well.
All right. I think we have one last formal question here. Senator, we'll give it to you.
And actually, she answered the question,
Oh, okay.
Well,
actually, yeah, looking at it, yes. So,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Well, so you did talk about the extension granted, so that's fine. As we wrap up here, I want, not to make things confusing, but I got a message before we started that Assembly Member Arambula actually had a couple of questions come in on his end that he wanted to throw in before we wrap up here. So if that doesn't catch you off there by surprise, Assembly Member Arambula, go ahead, throw those questions in. I'm guessing Shellie can respond to them quickly.
No, I think I had answered or had asked the question earlier. I really was trying to look at the ID verification and whether or not there solely was the opportunity to use mail to send that in, or if we were looking at other modes of technology.
Okay.
So I'm happy to have that conversation offline, but really was trying to dig into the ID verification, as that's what my constituents are reaching out to our office with.
Absolutely. Okay, good. Glad we got that addressed. All right, folks, thank you so much. Shellie, thank you again for all of your work and for your presentation and your responses to all of these questions. I know you and your colleagues are working 24 hours a day, 8 days a week.
Day and night.
To do this.
Yes.
And we just, on behalf of all of us and to you and your colleagues up and down the state, and particularly in the Central Valley, we definitely know how much work it is, and continued good luck. And there may be the opportunity we can bring you back again, Lord willing, as things go on here for further clarification and information. So thank you again, Shellie Tarver, the Deputy Division Chief for the Employment Development Department based in the Central Valley region. So thank you very much, Shellie.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I will
Thank you as well.
Jared, good luck to you, and take care of yourself. And I will give our legislative colleagues here just a chance for, if they would like, a couple of comments to wrap things up. I see Dr. Arambula on the screen, so we'll go to you first, Dr. Arambula. Any final words from everything that you've heard here today, and any final thoughts?
Well, I think we know the importance that these programs play for communities like ours, and I wanted to just take a moment and appreciate the leadership of our senator in this moment to convene this hearing. I think it's incredibly important that we who are serving in the government are responsive to our constituents, and that includes holding forums like the one we're doing right now. Just wanted to appreciate her for giving us this space and time to elevate the concerns of our constituents, and glad that I was able to play a small part in it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you very much, Assemblymember. I believe Assemblymember Rivas had to leave, but that's okay. We'll give a final few words here to my in-studio guest, Assemblymember Caballero. You've heard all of this. I know you and your staff have been dealing with this, Senator Caballero. Any final thoughts here?
Well, first, let me again thank the Assembly members for joining us today. When we can do things together, it's tremendously important, and I'm always honored to have them join me. Also, I really want to thank Deputy Director for being on the phone line with us. This is a tough job. It's at a really tough time, and I know that that they having to bring on thousands of new staff members is not an easy task. Training them and getting them ready to answer public questions is not an easy task. But they've done a great job. As she indicated at the beginning, I think they've distributed $6 billion, which is critically important. It's really helped our families and individuals that have been really hurt by this pandemic, and that need resources to be able to continue to survive economically. And so this is a lifeline, and we know it is. And also want to recognize that this would not have been possible but for the federal legislators as well, that passed legislation that said we're going to provide an pandemic assistance. And so we've been working in cooperation with our federal partners to make sure that we can get that money out as quickly as possible. So a thank you to everybody that made this town hall possible, and to the constituents that are listening. Know that we're there for them, and that we want to make sure that they get resources that's going to make a difference in their life. So thank you so much. Absolutely.
Thank you, Senator, and Assemblymember Arambula and Assemblymember Rivas for being on. I know you folks are working 24/7 practically yourselves, and definitely appreciate all the work that you're doing on behalf of your constituents. And I wish you, all of you, good luck with everything moving forward. So, and the same with you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I know it has been a difficult time for everyone, for all of us. Hopefully the information shared, the conversation was helpful to you. We want to remind everybody that this presentation is being presented live as we speak, but it is being archived where you are watching it now. So if you want to replay and review the information and the content, or if you want to direct someone who you know who was not able to watch us live right now to listen in or to review, it will be archived right where you're watching it, including, I assume, Senator Caballero's website. So please check back and it'll be there, and you can get that information. It'll be here to continue to provide, hopefully, some information and some reassurance to everything that's going on. So, folks, that's it.
Brian, can I make one more comment?
Absolutely,
I just
please.
realized
No. We got time. Go ahead.
Is that, you and I are sitting more than 6 feet apart.
Yes.
And we've used the mask because
Yes.
we're in a room together. So I want to ask our constituents and the customers, the people that are listening,
Yes.
to continue the good work, to socially distance themselves and to
Yes.
wear masks whenever they're out in public or sitting next to somebody. It's really important that we do everything possible
Right.
to reduce the incidence of this disease, in particular the number of people that end up in the hospital, in ICU, and
Absolutely.
that die. It's critically important. So
Absolutely, and this virus is still with us.
It's still here.
Unfortunately, the
Still
curve
here.
has not been flattened. And no, you bring up a very good point, and even the simplest gestures like this can make a huge difference. So absolutely, thank you for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, folks, that does wrap it up. I hope this has been helpful. Our hearts are with you. I wish everyone safety and peace of mind. And on behalf of Assemblymember Robert Rivas of the 30th Assembly District in Hollister and Assemblymember Joaquin Arambula, Dr. Arambula from the 31st Assembly District in Fresno County, and State Senator Ana Caballero from Salinas and the 12th Senate District from the state capitol in Sacramento, I'm Brian Green. Be safe, everybody, and thanks for watching.